When you're doing your planning, what is for you, Alex or Paul, kind of top of mind of things that you should probably keep an eye on because that will change your plan or you have to account for it?
Accessibility. Everything that we're doing and with everything that we're working on, it's about making sure that the people who need to can get access to the service. So it's not about the technology, it's about access to what it is that they need to help with their situation, with the crisis that they're facing, and with climate change and things like that. This is only going to increase and affect more people. So just making sure that people have access to the technology to get the services that they need. So whether that be different languages, offline, different input channels, a mechanism, speech to text, all of these types of things.
Yeah, I
So,
found it, sorry, I found it very, very interesting, Alex, that you said, probably for me, it's about sustainability. So I'm very, as a technologist, very technology agnostic. The technology comes and goes, and especially within developing world situations, it's moving very fast. And sort of me, it's about choosing the appropriate technology at the appropriate time, but understanding how do you keep that technology framework in place in 3 years' time and in 5 years' time. So I think that kind of quite nicely complements what you mentioned about accessibility, affordability, sustainability, etc.
Yeah.
and it makes sense also with this idea. It's a fantastic way to start a conversation. It makes sense with the idea of a general maturity over the whole conversation about technology, right? It's great to be excited. Everybody's familiar with this kind of hype loop. At first, you get excited by technology, and then you don't hear much about it. And then I think in so many fields, it gets back with a more mature perspective of saying, okay, besides the tech component that we're not excited about anymore, how can we make sure that everybody is using it? So let's say break it down in a few pieces. You talked about a few ways to make those technology accessible. So if we design, or if as a nonprofit or a social impact organization, we use or we plan to use technologies, and we want to make sure that they're accessible, what are the things that we should incorporate in our decision-making process and how we choose those technologies, so we don't find ourselves in 3 years saying, oh, well, that's it, that technology crashed, we were dependent on some sort of servers or etc. So what are the traps?
I think the way to avoid traps is to talk to those people, to talk to the people that you're trying to make sure you don't leave out. So the people who maybe don't have a smartphone, the people who are in rural communities where the connection is on and off, where they can't always charge their phone, and they will have the answers. They have incredible and often very different ways of getting around issues, and finding solutions help them to do that, and that piggyback off solutions that they're already using to access other services. And I don't think that sitting in wherever we're all sitting, we have the answers to those things, because it's not an everyday challenge for us. And so really user-led design, having local tech companies involved in helping with that process, in exploring what's being used locally by different types of groups. What we're learning in Loop is that in different countries, people are adapting existing technology for different purposes, and that looks very different in every country. So how can we adapt Loop to make sure that we fit within that and piggyback off what people are already finding successful?